And welcome back to Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, joined by Rick Unger, Heather Hansen, and Hank Scheinkoff. ISIS now getting bolder in its attacks against non-believers. Last week they took hostage over 200 Syrian Christians. Now they are forcing them to renounce their faith and make a payment in gold in order to be protected. If they don't, well, I think we all know what their fate will be. We're now joined by Julian Taimoorazy, president of the Iraqi Christian Relief Council. Welcome, Juliana.
Thank you for having me on, Joe.
So what can you tell us about the latest reports that ISIS is shaking down Christians in Syria?
The Assyrian Christians in Syria, actually about 400 of them have been kidnapped. 7 villages have been attacked. The oldest church, which is about 1,800 years old, was burned down to the ground. And as you mentioned, they are asking for ransom. We don't know how much this ransom is. However, yesterday they freed about 19 Assyrian men and women. 2 women and 17 men had been freed, and that was because of the negotiations that the head of one of the villages, who was Muslim, conducted with these ISIS members. But there are about 400 of them that are still missing, and in fact ISIS has come really very close to the Iraqi Christian Relief Council. One of my board members, 2 of her cousins were executed last Monday, and 7 members of her family have been abducted today.
Rick, I know you're
Juliana, I'm curious. You know, mafia-style shakedowns have really been part of the MO of this organization since the beginning. We talk about their black market oil, but shakedown is a big part of it. Why do you think that hasn't taken root in the mass media, so we better understand that these guys are not just all about religion?
I believe there is a subliminal anti-Christian sentiment that is going rampant among the media, among newscasters. And also, we don't want to offend Muslims. We cannot make a blanket statement and say all Muslims are terrorists. In fact, we should align ourselves with the moderate Muslims who don't subscribe to this sort of savagery. However, we have to call what it is. This savagery is Islamist extremism. And if we don't call it, how can we cure the problem? And we have to report what is accurate. The crucifixions that have been going on, the beheadings that have happened throughout Iraq and Syria have gone greatly unnoticed. And I'm grateful that you are giving us this platform to talk about this.
Juliana, yesterday 19 of roughly 220 Syrian Christians being held by ISIS were released. Any thought as to why we normally don't see mercy in any capacity from ISIS?
You know, we're shocked and we're grateful at the same time that they have been released. But I believe there was a moderate Muslim who stepped in and he negotiated and they freed them. And but, you know, there are about 400 of them, Joe, that are kidnapped, the Assyrian Christians today. And we're really afraid of what will become of them. And these include young women, young children. In fact, when ISIS attacked the 7 villages, the Assyrian villages, there is a report that there was a 2-day-old child, along with his mother, were kidnapped. And so this has been going on for a long time. And I believe the American foreign policy is greatly failing the minorities in the Middle East.
I have to agree with you there. Do you believe this is a religious war, and we're talking about a group of Muslim thugs basically using religion for financial gain? I mean, oh, pay us in gold. I mean, on one hand they talk about religion, on the other hand they say, well, if you pay us, then maybe we'll let these folks go. Maybe they're not quite the non-believers we thought they were. In other words, it seems like their religion can be bought off. Finish this thought for me. It just seems like ISIS contradicts themselves. On one hand, they say it's in the name of religion. On the other hand, they're saying, well, pay us off and everything's fine.
Well, when ISIS strikes, or when Al-Qaeda struck in Iraq starting 2003, they gave the Assyrian Christians 3 options. You convert to Islam, you pay jizya, which is this tax, these golds that are asking for, or you convert to Islam. So this is something that they have been doing for a long time, since the rise of Islam. This is a business for them. They're trying to create a caliphate throughout the world, and they want to scare the West, and frankly, they're doing a great job of it. We're afraid of talking about it enough in the media to really wake up the church, wake up humanity. Joe, I don't understand why the Christian West is silent when there's such Holocaust that is underway in front of our eyes. I believe there's a movie coming out called Sing a Little Louder, and this talks about the silence of the church in the West during the Holocaust in the 1940s and how the church remains silent still today.
Well, Juliana, I've called it a genocide on this show. Our panel has as well, and I think we have to start using that term more when it comes to this topic. Juliana Taimoorazy, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, good news. As we said, ISIS released 19 prisoners. Bad news is they've ramped up their persecution. Hank, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Juliana. Is ISIS like a mafia-like branch using religion for personal gain when money may be the object, or land, or power?
It is a combination of all three. If you want to prove that you're a radical Muslim, one of the things you do is you kill Jews or you kill Christians. I wrote for Newsmax a long time ago, a couple of years back, talking about this persecution of Christians in the Middle East. What I am outraged about, as a free-thinking citizen of the world, where are the protests in the street? Where are the people showing outrage? Why do Christians have to die because people have decided that their religion is wrong? Why is this allowed to happen? And where is the Pope, and where is the rest of the world when it comes to these issues?
It's true, Heather. Where the Pope has been largely silent on
well,
this.
Well, that is true, but you know what is interesting is the Saints tight end, Ben Watson, who is a very Christian and very vocal about his Christianity. He had a Facebook post today or yesterday about this issue and calling for people to stand up. He's calling for people to wake up, calling for people to pray for the Christians that are being targeted, and calling for people to be ready when it comes here. And that Facebook post has been shared, thousands and thousands of times. So I think there is an awareness building. The Southern Baptist group wrote a letter to the president asking him for more support. So you're seeing, as we talk about it more and as we face it head on, as opposed to hiding what it is, I think you will see more and more people speaking up. And the Pope has spoken, to be fair, the Pope has spoken about it, perhaps not as strongly as some would like, but he has spoken about it.
That's what I meant. He obviously has spoken out about it, but it should be a central theme in every Sunday and any interview he does. And I think he could just draw more attention to it. By the way, no irony lost in the fact that Ben Watson plays for the Saints. That only makes sense, but he's a good man. Anyway, a little levity in an otherwise depressing topic, Rick.
Well, look, I mean, I've been amazed right from the start that we know how these people make their money. And we've made this very big fuss about the black market in oil, how they've captured these oil wells. And we never talk about this. This has been all along one of their biggest tricks for making money. They learned well from the old school mafia. And we don't talk about it, and I don't understand why. We're so enamored with the religious aspect, we are not calling these guys out for what they are.
They're Nazis, there's no question about it. And they're worse than Nazis because Nazis didn't kill themselves in the process. That's the difference.
And that's the final word on that topic, at least until tomorrow night. Coming up on the wrap, our own Rick Unger went to CPAC. Who are the winners and losers? Find out after the break. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.